Welcome to our presentation entitled COVID-19 and APE Service Delivery, Implications and Recommendations. My name is Brock McMullen, and I am an assistant professor at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, where I serve as the director of our adapted physical education program.
And I am Tim Swenson, assistant professor from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, where I teach adapted physical education courses within the physical education teacher education program. Thank you all for joining us. In school districts, APE specialists provide specially designed physical education services to children ages 3 to 21 in various educational settings or placements through direct instruction, team teaching, and consulting with general physical educators to provide services in the least restrictive environment where students with disabilities are educated with their non-disabled peers to the maximum extent that is appropriate. The preparation of PK-12 adapted physical education or APE teachers is a continuing priority as the need for special education and related service personnel persists in all states. However, in March 2020, most school districts transitioned to an online learning environment due to COVID-19. Additionally, many schools across the country remained online or utilized hybrid instruction throughout the 2020-2021 academic school year. This change in pre-K-12 instruction also had an impact on how pre-service teachers are prepared, so they may have the knowledge and tools to teach in an atypical environment. The purpose of this study was to gather information about APE service delivery practices in PK-12 school districts and how the COVID-19 pandemic impacted instruction. Results from this study can be used to enhance content in APE preparation programs.
After IRB approval and consent was obtained, 17 teachers were interviewed virtually. The teachers had an average years of 9.5 years teaching experience in the K-12 schools, where 15 of them had a master's degree or above and 2 had a bachelor's degree. Teachers were from 9 different states, which included a range of school district sizes, including those with just 1 APE teacher, ranging to those with over 50 APE teachers. All participants responded to the same list of 10 open-ended questions, which were developed from items thought to contribute to successful APE teacher service delivery, particularly with the COVID-19 pandemic in mind. COVID-related questions were primarily focused on how the pandemic impacted adapted physical education service delivery and the return to face-to-face instruction, as well as recommendations for APE teacher preparation programs moving forward. Prior to the interviews, each teacher received the list of 10 questions via email and replied with their written response for each question and returned them to the lead investigator, where a follow-up interview was then scheduled and conducted, which lasted approximately 30 minutes, and that consisted of further discussion of the participants' written responses. After the interviews were complete, all data from the teachers' written responses and the follow-up interviews were analyzed thematically by the 2 authors.
Overall, 2 primary themes emerged related to COVID-19. These included how the pandemic required teachers to provide remote instruction and remote assessment. Specifically, adapted physical educators had to adjust these practices to meet the needs of their students. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, teachers worked asynchronously and transitioned to a combination of synchronous and asynchronous instruction, depending on how their district organized the school day. Teachers were forced to modify the physical education curriculum and IEP goals for students. Assessments and evaluations were also conducted virtually. However, some districts went as far as discontinuing initial evaluations in a virtual format. Some examples from the voices of the participants' experiences are as follows. Within the theme of remote instruction, one study participant noted that all of my lessons are now virtual and are done either through Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Not having a gymnasium is a huge obstacle in teaching APE during the COVID era. We were able to do so much more in that space, including more team games, large group warm-ups, utilizing PE buddies, hand-over-hand assistance, and use of different exercise game equipment. Another participant stated, "I think the main thing is just being creative with videos. I have made a lot of videos just for my house. For instance, I have made throwing videos at home where I go through all the steps and have the kids throw pairs of socks at a pillow, or drawing a face on a piece of paper towel during Halloween and having them catch the ghost in their house when throwing it up in the air." Related to the second theme, remote assessment, participants shared the following information. "Virtual assessments have been very challenging. Oftentimes I rely on a helper, typically a parent, to assist with assessment and observation while I teach. All virtual teaching is live. I do not pre-record videos unless a student is absent or a parent requests it. Initial evaluations are not being completed because of the validity of the assessment instrument cannot be maintained virtually. And lastly, collecting IEP data has presented some challenges or is often impossible for students receiving virtual instruction. For example, most goals are specific and unique to face-to-face environments. COVID contingency plans were developed for this reason."
In addition to sharing their experiences with remote instruction and assessment, the adapted physical education teachers also provided various recommendations for university teacher preparation programs. One teacher stated that pre-service teachers should receive training for how to conduct a virtual classroom with an increased attention on verbal communication skills, since hands-on physical demonstrations are not available. Providing verbal instruction through alternative methods would be valuable for future teachers. Teacher preparation programs also need to prepare students to use technology for remote teaching and other roles. This remote instruction needs to be motivating, fun, and engaging according to our participants. Furthermore, it's suggested by some teachers that pre-service programs have college students locate and post remote instructional resources that can help both pre-service and practicing professionals. Ultimately, teachers need to be flexible regarding how they deliver instruction. It has even been suggested that school cancellations due to snow or other weather concerns may not happen in the future, and all instruction will be virtual until it is safe to return. Despite the erratic nature in which assessment in APE took place, a unifying recommendation was the necessity of assessment within APE programs, where one teacher stated, "Assessment remains key for APE teachers, including formal and informal assessment practices." COVID-19 circumstances in the PK-12 schools have added many skills and competencies to an already full array of content for future APE teachers. Competencies in technology, remote assessment, and teaching highlight the ever-growing knowledge base needed for quality APE PK-12 teacher instruction. Preparation programs need to continue to connect with PK-12 practitioners to best prepare APE teachers for the current job roles and responsibilities. Overall, COVID-19 presented many new and unforeseen challenges, especially in the areas of instruction and assessment, requiring teachers to perform these tasks in an online virtual environment. These views, experiences, and suggestions of the participants in the study were congruent with previous research in relation to the necessity of teachers being flexible and adaptive. The profession of teaching is ever-changing, and teacher preparation programs need to stay current on best practices that are occurring in the PK-12 schools. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.